Okay, example 4 for 4.2. These ones you're going to be writing a quadratic equation in vertex form, given the vertex and a point that it goes through. So let's start off with vertex form. Vertex form is y equals our a value times, in parentheses, x minus h, parentheses squared, plus our k value. So this is called vertex form because your vertex is found by the h and the k value. So because it's minus h in the equation, h is the opposite sign in the equation. I spelled that wrong. Gn, there we go. So whenever you take h out of the equation or you put h back into the equation, it's the opposite sign. And then k just stays the same. So k is the same sign. So if it's plus a number at the end, it's positive k. If it's minus a number at the end, it's a minus k or negative k. All right. So if we look at the information they give us that our vertex is at -1, 4. So our h is -1 and our k is a +4. So we can write those into our equation where h is the opposite. Because it's a minus, we'll put +1 in our equation. Don't forget the squared. That's important. If there's no squared, it's not a quadratic. And then k was +4, so we'll put +4. Okay, the only thing we're missing to make this equation complete is our a value. So right now, we don't know what a equals. We need to figure that out. The way we can is by using the point that this parabola is going to go through, by plugging in these numbers for y and x. So remember, it always goes x, y in the coordinate point. So our y value was 2, and our x value is 0. That gives us enough information to figure out what a is. Now we have one variable that we can solve for. The first thing you're going to do is simplify the right side before you even start solving. So we're going to simplify following PEMDAS. We have 0 plus 1 in parentheses. That's going to equal 1. Then after the p in PEMDAS, we have e, which is exponents. So we have 1 to the power of 2, which is just 1. And this is being multiplied by a. So it's just our coefficient for a now. 1 squared is 1a plus 4. Now there's nothing else we can simplify on the right side. There's no like terms we can combine, no more exponents. It's all gone. Now we can solve the equation using inverse operations. So I'm going to subtract 4 on both sides. That gives me a -2 equals 1a. And that is the same thing as just -2 equals a. Now, finding the a is only part of the question. It is asking us to write an equation or a function. So if you don't write that, that's not done. You're not finished with the problem. So your final equation is going to be what we wrote here, but instead of a, you're going to replace it with what we know a is. So we'll have y equals -2 times x plus 1 squared plus 4. So your final equation should have an x and y in it because it should look like an equation that you could be asked to graph, or you could be asked to find an output or an input or to find the vertex and stuff. So that is what they're asking you for, an x and a y in the quadratic equation. Okay, so now from here, you should try example 5 on your own if you would like, and then go to the end of the video to check. If not, you can follow along with me. So again, we're going to write a quadratic equation in vertex form. They give us our vertex at 1, -4. So I'm just going to write my general setup again so I can plug these in. So I know h is the opposite. In the problem, it's positive. So in my equation, my h is going to become negative. So x minus 1 squared. My k is -4, so I'll do -4. Now I need to solve for a. So in order to do that, I use the point they give me, and I plug in these numbers for x and y. So I have -3 equals a times, in parentheses, 2 minus 1 squared minus 4. And again, before you start solving, you need to simplify the right side following PEMDAS. So we're going to do the parentheses first. And we have 2 minus 1, which just equals 1. And then we square it. And 1 squared is 1. And this number is going to change sometimes. So if you don't get 1a, that is okay. But whatever that number is becomes the coefficient of a. So it goes in front. And then these are not like terms, so I can't combine them. Now I can start solving using inverse operations. So I will add 4 to both sides, and that gives me 1 equals 1a, or in other words, 1 equals a. Once I know my a value, what I wrote here is most of my answer. I just need to replace that a with what I know it equals. So that would be y equals 1 times x minus 1 in parentheses squared minus 4. That is your final answer. Again, it should have an x and a y. Also, don't forget the squared. A lot of people forget that. Even up here, if you forget it in your problem, you're going to solve it wrong. So make sure you don't forget those. And that is everything for Unit 4. If you have questions, make sure you let me know.